Good afternoon. My name is Venny Ala-Siurua. I'm the Executive Director of Women on Web. Women on Web is a feminist non-profit organization based in Canada, and we facilitate online access to abortion pills. Before I dive into explaining how digital rights and abortion access are connected, I want us all to think of a scenario. In this scenario, you're pregnant and you need an abortion, and you go online to look for one. You type in, "I need an abortion" in the search engine, you press search. You receive a list of resources. There's hotlines, there's websites, there's services, everything you need. But then you notice that you actually left a little typo in the word abortion. You go and correct the word, you press search again, and suddenly a completely different type of list of resources appears. You go into the first one you see, and it's some sort of a website that's providing free counseling, free abortion counseling, free pregnancy counseling, ultrasounds, and there's a section for adoption too. You may or you may not know, but you are actually on a website of a CPC. CPCs are crisis pregnancy centers. CPCs are designed to specifically mislead you, to specifically deter you from having an abortion. So what is happening? You type in abortion correctly and you are directed to a CPC. But then when you accidentally leave a typo, you get the resources that you would have needed all along to have an abortion. This scenario that I just described to you is actually a true story. Women on Web and our partners at Plan C, we figured out that this was actually happening in one of the search engines called Bing. If you're wondering, the search results have been corrected since then, and I'll tell you in a moment how. What happened with Bing is not an isolated story. It's not the first time that people are going online to look for information around abortion and they don't find it, or the information is inaccurate. All the time people are going to social media looking for accounts of hotlines and services that they know of, and they just can't find the accounts anymore. They've just been suspended, they've disappeared. You might be also going online to look for websites like Women on Webs, and you just don't find it because the website is actually censored in your country. More and more people are affected by censorship and digital suppression simply because there's more people online. More people are online expecting to receive services and information. And thanks to the internet, also more and more people are self-managing their own abortions at home. People are going online, they're finding the abortion pills, they're finding instructions how to use them, and then they have abortions at home in the privacy of their own homes, in the company that they choose for themselves. For some people, this is a preference. For some people, this is an empowering experience that they choose. And for others, this is the only option to have a safe abortion in their countries and communities. It's not just abortion seekers and abortion providers that are going online. Also, anti-abortion groups and conservative governments, they're turning their attention to online spaces too. Bans and restrictions on abortion alone are not working out, so they're targeting information, they're targeting access to information. And why are they doing that? Well, information is powerful. People who know their rights, who can assert their rights, they're dangerous to their plans. So it's not a coincidence that there's more and more censorship around today. Censorship is a very powerful strategy to restrict access to abortion. And unfortunately, it has life-altering consequences for people. A few years ago, my organization, Women on Web, we lost 80% of the website traffic to our website. It happened because Google had updated its algorithm. So we spoke to Google, we asked what's going on, and they told us that nothing really, like your website is just fine. It just happens to be that right now your website is not providing the best possible information for people who are looking for abortion. That's not true. We knew that that wasn't true. We knew that our website and a few others, we were the only way to access safe abortion care online in these countries. So the algorithm was not interpreting reality correctly. In fact, the algorithm was disrupting people's abortion journeys. Similar things are happening in social media too. Our posts, our accounts, they're all being taken down, and they're telling us that we're violating community guidelines. We're promoting guns and drugs and crime and whatnot, but that's not true. Abortion is healthcare, and what we're trying to do, we're producing healthcare information. It's really important to remember here that it's not you and it's not your content or your post that's the problem. It's the human beings behind the technology that they've developed, and it's all the policies that they developed too. So what happened with Bing, the scenario that I started with? So we made Microsoft aware that this was happening on their search engine, and they went in and corrected it. A human being corrected the same thing that they had created in the beginning. It was a man-made manipulation to begin with. Tomorrow, Women on Web is turning 20 years. 20 years ago, we were the first international online abortion service that was out there. And since then, we have assisted over 130,000 people to access abortion with pills through our website. Today, it's not just us, there's many others like us. And us and many others, we rely on open and free internet to do our work, to deliver services, provide information. And it's not just that. It's today that abortion seekers too are relying on open and free internet to access abortions. We know, when we have been discussing this in ICFP too, that funding is being cut. Funding is disappearing altogether. It's making us and our organizations and our missions feel vulnerable, almost like we want to protect what we have and hold on to it. I'm urging everybody here and encouraging us not to do that. Let's look for places where fights for rights and liberations are intersecting, just like abortion access and digital rights are intersecting today. We shouldn't be pursuing separate fights, because the right violations that we're seeing in the physical world today, they are being replicated online too. In fact, abortion access today is deeply embedded in the broader fight for internet freedom. Thank you.